you a little update. We are planning a celebration of life for Tim. And, I find myself really, I've been in a state of exhaustion and in a state of mental fogginess. I think those are to be expected, given our last 21 months of racing against the clock to try to, win the race against cancer, but we didn't win that race, not in the way that we hoped to. But maybe he won a race that is only for him to know. And, we definitely grieve his loss, but as we prepare to celebrate his life, I'm just super, super mindful of how his spirit lives on in all of us who will be celebrating him, how his spirit will live on in our memories, how his spirit will live on in just the messages that he imparts to each one of us through the life that he lived and through the example of who he was. And we had conversations regarding his celebration of life and what that might look like before he passed. It was always a kind of a interesting conversation because on one hand we were really fighting hard to beat cancer, and I think talking about a celebration of life was sort of an admission that he was losing that fight, but he wasn't ready to surrender yet. And so we kind of had ideas that we tossed around, and now that he's not here, I'm getting to plan these things and really reflect on who I know him to be and who he was in his life with the people that he loved throughout his life, because we're not just celebrating the most recent part of his life, but his life as a whole. And I feel I'm feeling the importance of this event and feeling how important it is to celebrate as a means of closure, as a means of final release, as a means by which we each get to reflect on who he was for us and what we wish to carry on in his absence. And I'm mindful of how each and every one of us, we will impart on others an impression of who we are and what's important to us, and we leave the world changed by our presence here. And I know traveling this journey with Tim has really made me even more mindful of that than I was before, and how sometimes we touch people for a moment, sometimes we touch them for days or weeks, sometimes we touch them throughout the span of our life in different ways. And sometimes those momentary connections have an impact that lasts for the duration of a life. And I'm just feeling super mindful of all of it, of the totality of our impact. And I feel like we're navigating day-to-day life, and then also within that I'm just, mindful of so many different things. But I'm mindful of within our day-to-day impact, within our day-to-day simple moments of life that are all strung together that become our lifespan. How can we go through it more mindfully, more consciously of the fact that we leave a lasting impression upon this planet, for better or for worse. You know, are we leaving the kind of imprint on the hearts and minds of others that we want to leave? Because that's really our legacy. You know, I think we can leave certain things behind, or leave, but I really think it's the day-to-day stringing together of the simple moments and the ways that we show up that really is our most powerful form of legacy. For me, I think Tim's legacy was the way that he showed up for, he would set about learning something with a kind of discipline that certainly puts my discipline to shame. He would show up just wholeheartedly diving into something to learn it from top to bottom and from inside to out. And it allowed us to run our farm on a shoestring budget. It allowed him to make use of old, dilapidated equipment because he just kept rebuilding it and rebuilding it. He did that with painting. He did that with cooking. He did that with farming. He did that with parenting. I think my most lasting impression of him was really his desire to nurture us, and to do that through a warm, home-cooked meal. And, he would bring us back to the table morning, noon, and night, and it became a solid anchor for us as a family. And I think many, if not most of my, most positive memories of Tim are around the dinner table, sharing time together as a family, and just talking about really simple things that really probably didn't seem hugely significant at the time, but that way of being together was hugely significant over time. So it is a huge honor to be navigating this part of his life, and navigating, preparing this celebration of life, and thinking of the pieces and parts that would really make it a meaningful tribute to him, a way of honoring him. And I really feel like it's an honoring for all of us. It's a celebration of all of our lives, just like at a marriage ceremony. I think we all, celebrate our vows and renew those together, our commitments to the people that we love. I think the celebration of life is about far more than just the individual that we're honoring. And I think that's how Tim would want it, for sure. And I also feel very strongly that the messages and the stories that are shared will leave a lasting imprint on the hearts and minds of our daughters, who I think it will be most important that they carry those memories with them, and that these stories will give just a broader, deeper, more expanded appreciation of who their dad is, which I think is just beautiful. So that's kind of where I'm at and where things are at right now, post-cancer and post-Timmy's passing. So just wanted to share that with you. All right. Thank you for tuning in and